Hey, what's up guys, it's Galaxy Tech Darklord here, back to present this. It is my scrap deck for the post-Primal Origin April 2014 format, so that means it's got Scrap Factory in it. Of course it's not out yet because Primal Origin is not to be released until May 16th, but I just went to a sneak peek, so I got 3 of them, which means that I can present a real build with real cards, not online on DevPro, before it's officially released, which gives me a head start. So I'm going to get right into it. 3 copies of Scrap Chimera is the first monster we get into. Really great card. Normal summon it. Get a Scrap Tuner from the graveyard. Doesn't actually matter what level. It could be a level 5. But yeah. And it's got a nice 1700 attack. I just wish it had an effect like most other scraps do, which is recycle another scrap from the graveyard when it's destroyed by a scrap. So yeah. And then we run 3 copies of Scrap Golem. Bit cloggy at times, I'll admit that. It's a good beater, and with Factory it is very good to play, as long as it stays in the deck or the graveyard, not your hand. And it also is it's like a wolf bark, basic coach soldier wolf bark. You get a scrap. You can get a level 4 or lower scrap from your graveyard once a turn. Then for the tuners we have 3 copies of Scrap Beast. It's a standard tuner for scraps. 2 copies of Scrap Orthros. It's very expensive now, which is why I'm glad I had all of these cards before Scrap Factory was announced, when they originally came out. It can only be special summoned by its own effect. Then when it's summoned, destroy a scrap, set off their effects, or Scrap Factory. Then Scrap Goblin just for stalling basically. Then for the non-scrap stuff we play 2 copies of Summoner Monk, because it allows you to drop a spell from the hand and then just summon a level 4. So Scrap Beast. Then 2 copies of Meklord Emperor Granel. Because this is a scrap deck, there's a lot of destroying by card effects, so not running this would be bad and would be a bit stupid in my opinion, because its effect is very good. It can steal synchros, special summon the synchro that is stolen, and its attack and defense is equal to half your life points. So yeah. Then finally we run 1 Redox, because it just gives you that power to reborn stuff from the graveyard. So yeah. Then for the spells we have 3 copies of Scrap Factory, the obvious choice. 200 power boost. That's not as important as the next ability. When a scrap is destroyed by card effect, except during this damage step, you can special summon a scrap from your deck. That's basically all there is to it, but that is enough to make scraps competitive again. Then 3 copies of Scrapyard, your tuner search. I just wish it was a bit less specific than tuners, but you know. Then 3 copies of Scrap Storm. This card provides an out to a lot of things, because you can chain it from like your opponent activates Mirror Force, you can chain it from your hand. Your opponent activates a card effect like Draco Sack, you can chain it from there, from when it's face down. It just provides a lot of outs, and it's a very good setup card as well. And it gives you a tad of draw power as well, which is very good. Then 3 copies of Pot of Duality, just for consistency, first turn consistency, and 2 copies of Soul Charge, because I just wanted to try it in the deck. It's been okay at the moment. It's been a bit cloggy, but I can just drop it with Summoner Monk. Before the 2 Soul Charge, I was running Creature Swap, which was also working equally well, because I could just send a scrap over to the opponent's field for one of their high-level monsters or something, and then destroy it with Scrap Dragon and get its effect off, because it goes to my graveyard. So that's why I was running 3 Creature Swap before. Then 2 copies of MST just for back row destruction, and then 1 Creature Swap because I cut two of them for the Soul Charge. Then 1 copy of Foolish Burial and 1 copy of Terraforming, just to search out your field spell. For the traps, there aren't that many. There are 3 copies of Threatening Roar. Just stall your opponent. It can be activated at basically any time during the opponent's turn, and stops your opponent attacking. You can just want them per the next turn. That's why. And then 2 copies of Royal Decree, just because online I just came across a lot of problems with traps that I couldn't get over because scraps lack the trap support like that Infernities have. But so Royal Decree I just had an idea to run it and see how it will go, and it's going quite well at the moment. It just it makes you less afraid of traps. You don't have to be as wary of traps being activated. So yeah, and then that's the main deck. Extras, there's obvious thing here: 3 copies of Scrap Dragon and 3 copies of Scrap Twin Dragon. These are obvious choices because they are Scrap Dragons and they have really great effects. This one is a generic rank 8, level 8 should I say, 2800 attack. With Scrap Factory it would go up to 3000. You can destroy one of your cards and one of your opponents once a turn with its effect. And with Scrap Twin Dragon it's destroy one of your cards once a turn and return 2 of your opponent's cards to the hand. So this card gets over things like Dracosack quite easily. Cards that just avoid destruction. I've beaten Evil Swarms with this because it gets over things like Pandemic. So yeah, and then when they're both destroyed, you can get a non-synchro scrap from the graveyard. And then just go all over again. And then 1 copy of Scrap Archfiend just because it's a generic beta level 7. Then 1 Stardust Dragon and Xaber Gothams just because it's generic rank 9, level 9. Yeah, and then Xyz Monsters is a very crude idea. I haven't been giving it that much thought, but 1 copy of Level Chain just to set up stuff, and Maystroke just because I found it very useful in a match against Evil Swarms to get rid of Ophion. So yeah, guys, that is the deck profile for Scraps for the post-Primal Origin format. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment and subscribe. Peace out.